Ching, 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 ching. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to this 120th episode of the Pre-Market Show. My name is Mandela, and we have an extra special guest for you today, none other than Terri K. She's been with us from pretty much day one, all the way back when we were calling our initial show, The Investing Blueprint. Terri K is a really good longtime friend of ours, and I'm very excited to bring her on in a minute. So you're not going to want to miss our interview with Terri K, talking about money management. Make sure you do provide your questions for her because we do have a live chat. And as part of the live chat, you can ask pretty much anything you like within the time limits. So we'd be happy to engage with you in the next 30 minutes and provide any answers that we can. The other thing is we are giving away an account today. So we do have a duck race. Have a look in the live chat. There is a link to enter our duck race competition. And for that competition, it's going to be a prize of a $5,000 account. So you don't want to miss that either. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say a very special Thursday to you. Also a reminder, today is the final trading day of the week because tomorrow we will be celebrating Juneteenth. We'll be right back right after this. All right, without further ado, I'm very pleased to bring to you our special guest, Terri K. Terri, welcome. Welcome back.
Thank you. Hello to everyone. I'll say good day because I know we have multiple times in, so I'll just say good day.
Yes, it's nice to have you, and it's a really, really beautiful view that you have behind you in Bermuda.
Thank you.
Bermuda's looking very nice. Yeah.
I am here in Bermuda, and it's a beautiful day, so I say let me sit outside so that anyone that's not in Bermuda or in an island can see, our beautiful weather today.
Yes, and it makes me feel a little bit homesick. Looks like the sun is shining and the weather is beautiful. So thank you for going into nature. I think we've been, trained to rely on electronics and screens and indoors and fake things. So it's nice to see natural. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So first question for you, Terri, is can you just give us a little bit of background into how you started out, how the interest first became something that you wanted to do, and maybe a little bit about what you've been doing over the last few years?
Sure. So my personal finance journey actually started when I graduated college and kind of became a real adult. And I tell everyone this story because it's actually genuinely how I got started. Back in the day, I used to play Russian roulette with my debit card because I never really knew how much money I had in my account. So whenever I would go tap to pay for something or go to the ATM to see how much money I had, I wasn't sure how much money was in there. I was just tapping away. And if the card went through, great day. And if it declined, I was like, okay, well, I guess I can't get that. Put these things back and just go do whatever else I was going to do for the day. So that's really what triggered it for me because I was like, okay, I was in my early 20s, but I was like, that's not sustainable. This isn't cute. I'm trying to be an adult. I'm trying to be a grown woman and I'm not doing the things. So that was actually how I got my interest. It was just my personal habits that I felt weren't good. In a nutshell, they weren't good. And so that kind of started me on doing things like connectingmint.com because I lived in the US at the time. And so I had access to the tool mint.com, which kind of helped me to understand budgeting and categories and seeing where I was spending my money. And so that really helped me to, fast track my understanding of my finances. And that's just been the journey so far. And every year I do something new. I'm learning something new. I'm having conversations with people. And it's really helped me to understand that it's okay to not know. It's okay to be honest with the fact that you didn't know something that you didn't know, and you can have an open conversation. You can be transparent with people that you trust and people that you love, and people that are experts in the space, to kind of get yourself into a place where you're able to do better at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day. And as far as the things that I've done over the last few years, so that was like my early days. When I came back home to Bermuda, got my very first real job outside of college. I did start a podcast during COVID. And that's when I decided to like kind of share my lessons and just share my thoughts on personal finance. It's not, as everyone says, it's not advice, but it's just what I've done and the things that I've been able to learn and what's worked for me. And I know everything is not going to be tailored for everyone's situation. Like there's not one guide that the whole world can use when it comes to finances. Everyone's situation is different. And I do want to just give a millennials perspective, because I do feel like millennials have probably had one of the hardest lifetimes. We've gone through so much. And so that was just kind of where I started. And that podcast was called The Sovereign Life, excuse me. And I had yourself on it, which was so great because it was when I was just starting to think about investing, which can be very scary for someone who already knows her personal finance history. It was definitely something that I found intriguing but intimidating. And so to have someone that looks like me and can explain it to me in a way that I was able to understand it has kind of allowed me to just continue to have the conversations and continue to stay in the space, because it can be kind of scary to be in a space where people don't look like you.
That is incredible that you've come so far and you've done so much in a short period of time. I still get people coming up to me and saying, Mandela, I saw you on that show. I've seen you on that show, Sovereign Life Podcast. So it's definitely made massive impacts, I think, on a lot of people's lives. So now I think you have a new podcast since then. It's kind of evolved. Can you talk a little bit about your new show and what it's about?
So the new show is called The Cash Cafe, and it's a partnership or a collaboration with RE98, which is a radio station here in Bermuda. And so I originally wanted to get back into the space. I wanted to kind of redo my podcast or revamp my podcast. And so I spoke to Russell, who is one of the owners of RE98, and I said like, hey, I wanted to revamp my podcast and kind of do this little financial tip thing. Like you can air on the radio, like it doesn't have to be live, it can be pre-recorded. And he had this concept that was already in the works, so that was just kind of sitting there. And so it was almost natural. It was definitely a line for me to just kind of jump in, because it was something that I was passionate about. I still am passionate about it, as you guys can tell. I got very excited talking about it, because it's something that I just feel like if we just talk about it more, we'll feel so much better with doing better with our finances. And so Cash Cafe, it's a two-part. There's a radio segment which airs on RE98 Tuesdays through Thursdays, and then there's a podcast element which lives on RE98 YouTube channel, which have longer conversations. The radio segments are very short. They're like 60 to 90-second clips, which is like a quick tip that you can kind of apply that day, or make a note or say to yourself, like, I'm going to do that later on today. And I've had so many people tell me, especially when it comes to these subscriptions, whenever that tip comes around, they're like, you know what? I found a subscription that I forgot about, that I didn't realize was still coming off of my debit card or my credit card, or there's a subscription that I have that I'm not really using, but I just haven't taken that off my card for whatever reason. So I do love that people are hearing the information and then, repeating it back to me. And I have a saying where it's like, hey there, moneymaker. That's how I started. And so everyone, whenever they see me, they say, hey, moneymaker. And I'm just like, okay, we're all in this together. We're building a community. We're definitely realizing that, we don't have to be Elon Musk or Warren Buffett to get into the space and just take care of our money. Like the money that we have doesn't have to have a lot of commas for us to take it seriously and for us to do good with it.
I think you brought up the subscriptions, because on my to-do list, I have a to-do list here. And at the top of my to-do list is to audit all the subscriptions that I have and try and filter out the ones I don't really need. Even the ones that I like, but I don't really need. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And I want to open it up to our live audience. If you do have some sort of subscriptions that you think you need to get rid of, or some subscriptions that you could do without, or you didn't even know you had, please post in the live chat and let us know. Also, anything that you are looking to cut out of your budget for 2026. I think it's all about sharing the information, and I think being aware of it, I think, is the first step. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that, and also the fact that people are coming up to you in the street saying that they recognize the importance of what we're sharing and what we're talking about. So usually the show is very much focused on trading, financial markets. What are we trading today? How can we make money today? But we wanted to focus a little bit more holistically today. And I wanted to kind of ask you what helps you to stay disciplined? Because I know there are some times when either you get like a nice chunk of money coming in from maybe a gift or maybe some sort of bonus, or if you, let's say you have more savings than you expected, how do you remain disciplined?
My kind of number one rule and my go-to is patience. And I remember when I was doing the investment blueprint, and there were some rules that you gave us for like investing. And one of them that stood out to me and that I've kind of adapted is the idea of, okay, if I have an idea, I get a chunk of money, or I have some money that I want to spend, I write down the things that I want and then I wait. I don't act on it yet. I wait. I'll maybe window shop or, online window shop and just write out a list of things that I want to do. And I put numbers next to them, like how much does it cost or how much do I want to spend? And then I'll leave it. And I might come to it a few days later, maybe a week later. And then I'll, like you said earlier, I'll audit. I'll decide okay, what is a priority? Like what is going to get me closer to my goal? And I also make sure that I have financial goals. And my financial goals are different. Like I have a long-term one, a medium-term one, a short-term one. And I ask myself okay, if I'm going to spend this money on, let's say, an Amazon order, how is that going to help or hurt my goal? Is that going to help me? And if it's not going to help me, I either reduce the amount, because one thing I don't try to do is restrict myself from things, because I feel like it also aligns with the holistic approach and the mental wellness around retail therapy, and some things that I might want may help me in another area of my life. So I don't try to restrict, but I do reduce. And I feel like with the reduction, it's kind of shifted my mindset to allow me to say okay, if I've done well for a year at my job and I got a bonus, I do want to celebrate that. I want to give myself a gift, but I don't want to blow the bonus that I got and just be a super high consumer and just buy everything, because I do want to do things like start investing or buy a home or, upgrade a car, things like that. So I definitely try to keep myself balanced. And so patience is definitely one of them. And then doing an audit after I've wrote out my wish list. And the third thing I would say is I stick to my goals. I always kind of remind myself what my goal is and just do that quick audit to say, is this going to help or harm? And depending on where I land, then I will go forth and be great.
I like that. So I actually use something similar when I'm doing trading. It's more so for something that's more longer term. So if I want to hold on to something for a few weeks into a few months, I will do the exact same thing where I will have a look at it, make a note somewhere, and then track it for at least an hour to a few days. And oftentimes, when I come back a few days later, either I don't want it anymore because I've found something better, or it's cheaper. So it's definitely something that a technique that applies across multiple different aspects of our lives, and I'm glad that you shared that. For anybody who is watching, we do have a live chat. This is not pre-recorded. Terri K is actually in Bermuda right now, and we are here for you. So any questions, any comments, please post it in the live chat. Looks like we have Tesla Trader in the office already. So happy Friday to you, Tesla Trader. And everybody's happy to have you back, listening and learning. It's lots to learn from. Where is Terri from? Terri is from Bermuda.
I am in sunny Bermuda right now, and it's a beautiful day. I hope it remains so, because my birthday is tomorrow, so I'm hoping that, fingers crossed, you have a great day.
Yeah,
so when you mentioned
Juneteenth,
thank you. When you mentioned Juneteenth and that today was the last trading day for the week, I was like, oh yeah, Juneteenth is now a holiday in the US, because it hasn't been for a long time. So that just reminded me when you said that.
Well, happy birthday, Eve.
Thank
And
you.
I hope that you celebrate it to the fullest and you have a lot of fun tomorrow. Any plans? Any birthday plans?
I am so I am still deciding. I have today off tomorrow, and then I have a day next week off as well. And so I'm trying to decide like how I want to enjoy the weekend. I'm very much a social person, but I also do like to kind of have my downtime and a little solitude. So I'm trying to decide like what balance is going to work best for me. But I have one standing thing that I do every year, which is I go to my best friend's job and have lunch and sit off with him and just yap away. So that's definitely one thing I'll be doing. And then before and after, I'm not sure yet. So if you see me on these socials, hopefully I'll post something. If you're like in Bermuda, if you want to like connect with me, I'll definitely, hopefully, let you guys know where I'm at. And then if not, the weekend is still hurts, so we still got time over the weekend.
Ah, beautiful. And it doesn't sound like you're going to be throwing away a whole lot of money on your birthday.
No.
Usually, the birthday girl usually gets treated for things, so
For
it's a
sure.
good time. It's a good time. So I do want to just remind people that we are giving away an account. So we'll give you let's give you 3 more minutes to enter the prize giveaway. And if you haven't done so already, this is your last call to get your entries in. My next question, because I'm not seeing any questions here. Oh, wait 1 second. We do have a question here from Neil Gilliand. Hey, Terry, a few years ago, I signed up for a bank account with all the extras. Last year, I canceled the subscription. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. So
And so
it works.
before
It
we
works.
move on, I do want to just say
Yep.
like things like that counts as well, right? Sometimes we sign up for bank accounts or credit cards and we think like I wouldn't say we got bought or sold a dream, but it can be a benefit. It has, things to it that we might like or that might kind of appeal to us in that moment. But we're all going through different stages of our lives. And there's different things that are going to make sense for us depending on where we are in our journey and what goals we're trying to achieve. So it's always good to check whether it's your bank account or credit card or subscriptions, things like that, even stuff in your house. Like definitely do that audit and inventory to see like, does it still fit? Because if it doesn't fit, it doesn't make sense holding on to it just because someone else in your life says you should keep it, or someone before you said that that's what they did. Like all of us, like I said, have a different story and have a different journey. So don't feel like you have to follow someone else's model. Definitely take what you can from everyone that you are learning or hearing things from, but apply it to your life and your situation. Don't let someone dictate to you how you should manage your money because it's yours.
Yeah. That's true. It is very personal. It's a very personal thing, and everybody is coming into it with their own personal sort of life experience, and I like that.
Exactly.
Okay, so my next question, because we're going to get over to the duck race in a second, it's going to be a short one. But what are some things that people refuse to give up, but they should? And that thing, or the things that they're refusing to cut or give up, are really preventing them from being financially sound.
Subscriptions are always going to be number one because I get it, because I'm definitely someone who have multiple subscriptions for pretty much the same thing. And I have to tell myself, Teresa, like, what is this for? So subscriptions is definitely number one. I think number two or another one has been the thing, possessions. So whether it's the new car, whether it's the big apartment or big home, or it's the fancy new laptop, or it's the really big computer, or it's the things in your home that, are not really adding value to your life or helping you be a better human, like hoarding things or just buying things to buy them. And I would say the third one is probably the idea of having to do retail therapy as a way to like deal with any stresses in your life. Now, I get it. And that's why I say like it's definitely something that I bake into when I'm making my budgets and when I'm making decisions around my finances is, giving myself a gift fund, but I also tie it to doing something. I don't just buy myself a gift to buy myself a gift. I say, okay, did you stay on track with your finances? Did you pay your bills all on time? Did not one bill lapse where like the company's calling you or sending you an email to tell you about to be disconnected? And if I did great that month, then I'll, buy myself something. But if I'm just doing retail therapy just to do it, I definitely feel like that's one thing that people tend to not want to give up. And travel without planning, like just travel or spending after a holiday just to spend. I definitely feel like that's another one. People don't want to plan because it takes time.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And I think if you want to do this, you kind of have to take it seriously, and you have to, almost stick to it, force yourself to get through those uncomfortable moments, because it's probably not going to be easy to cut that subscription that you sometimes would look at when you're like bored at night or before you go to bed. But
Yep.
ultimately, what is the purpose of it? And you give us a lot of good questions to ask. I think that's the key. That's absolutely the key. All right, so we're gonna do the prize giveaway now. I'm going to ask you to pick a number, Doc. I know you've had a pretty fast Doc on the longer
My
races.
doc, me and my doc, I don't know. Like I say this now, I joke with everyone, but when I'm not live and when I'm in the chat as well, I'm like, my doc needs some training. Like we need to get outside on Harbor Road and start doing some training, some intervals or something, because she's just not giving what she needs to give. But definitely want to say good luck to everyone that that participates, and I'm gonna go with lucky number 7. So whoever
Okay.
gets number 7, you're my doc.
Okay, lucky number 7. So I'll go with number 6. I'll go one below. Let's see,
Okay.
lucky number 7. Let's see who lucky number 7 is. Thank you, everybody who has joined and who has decided to enter today. We'll do a 7-minute dock race today. There we go. Okay, thank you, everybody. All the best to all the entrants. On your marks, get set, go. Okay. So we'll come back to this in a little bit. We have a very, very interesting start to the race. I think number 7 is somewhere in here.
I see him somewhere, or
Yeah,
she.
yeah, he or she. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We can't assume. We can't assume. So we'll come back to this in a little bit. I do have a few other questions. So one question that I'm really keen to ask you, because you know what it's like having your own show. You've had a wealth of knowledge over the many, many, many episodes. Has there been a theme, or has there been any sort of similarities with your guests in terms of what do they do differently, or what do they recommend that people do differently to make sure that they are able to be wealthy in the long term?
I think one thing that has kind of stood out to me is being honest with yourself. I feel like a lot of times we kind of lie to ourselves because we're comparing our journey to someone else's journey, and we're making assumptions about things. So I feel like the honesty and that awareness is definitely something that pretty much all of my guests have shared in some way, shape, or form. Like they did like their own self-reflection, or they realized that there was a situation in their life that caused them to pivot, and they had to be honest about what led them there, and what steps they would have to take to get out of it. I think honesty and awareness were like the top 2 things that almost every guest has kind of shared in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, that's good. So be honest with yourselves, people. Be honest with yourself, and I think you'll see the difference.
For sure.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say just for sure, because I feel like some people, it's very easy to lie to yourself because no one's really checking you, like no one's really watching you, like unless you have an accountability partner, there's no one that's like gonna say to you, don't do that. So being honest with yourself and being aware of your, I won't say shortcomings, but where you're willing to cut a corner will definitely help you to manage your money better. And there are so many parallels between money management and investing, because technically you're still managing money when you're investing. It's just in a different space, and a lot of different other factors.
That's the reason I wanted to have you on, because a few people were like, well, I think your show is about trading and it should be, but it's all connected, because if you were to make $10,000 today in trading, what are you going to do with it? And you need to, like, I'm not impressed by somebody who can make $10,000 in a day. I want somebody who can hold on to that and put it to good use and still have it 10 years from now.
Exactly.
And I think it's all connected, right? And you can make 10,000 today and lose it on Monday.
Yeah.
And that's not sustainable, and that's not the long term. I always say to people that I speak to is, I want to get rich slow. I want to be consistent, and I want to be around in 20, 30, 40 years with a large account. I'm not concerned about hitting the jackpot every single day. think that's not realistic.
I agree. And how we manage the smaller amounts of money that we have impacts when we're doing things like investing. So like some of the habits and the thought process that you have around, when you go into a shop and you see a dress or a suit that you want to buy, but you don't need it, how you impulse spend or how you deal with making that decision will apply to investing. Like when you talked about your example earlier where you look at a trade or you look at a stock and you either sit on it or you decide like when you're going to get in, it's the same principles. It's just a different, I wouldn't say commodity, but it's a different lane, a different area.
Yeah.
And the person you are when you're going to the grocery store is the same person you're going to be when you're investing. You're not going to be any different.
Yep. And that's so true. I think it's a mindset thing, and it applies, like you said, it applies across most aspects of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very glad that you said that. I'm going to have a quick look. Let's have a quick check-in on the duck race. Number 9 is named Fofana. And we got a comment from Fofana saying, I am in. Let's go.
Yes, you are.
And so Fofana is in the lead. So let's have a look over here at CTI land. Oh, this is going to give us some feedback. Let's pause that for a second. Okay, so CTI on the CTI YouTube channel, everybody's basically focusing on the duck and saying welcome to the show, Terri.
Thank you.
And also happy birthday as well.
Thank you.
Happy birthday wishes. Okay, so my last question for you as we kind of get towards the second half of the show is, do you think that there's anything that, for example, someone has said to you that has been shocking? So has there been anything that like stands out as, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard, whether good or bad, when it comes to this space?
I wouldn't say craziest thing I've ever heard, but like it impressed me. And it was one of my guests for the Sovereign Life podcast, Sylvia Taylor. She had shared her experience around paying off debt, and she did it in a very short time. I'm not gonna misquote myself or her and the amount of time that she did it, but when she spoke about that, she talked about the things about discipline and the reduction or the restriction on certain expenses that would help her to be able to pay for the past because she had a goal of wanting to buy a home. And so her sharing that part of the story was definitely something that surprised me and shocked me in that, because we're the same age. And so for someone my age to be able to do that definitely shocked me, because I'm thinking like, okay, it's going to either take a long time or you're going to have to wait till you're like 40, 50 to be able to do things like that. And she blew my mind in that aspect. And then, sorry, by getting pause, I would say for myself, and I'll share my own story, I guess you could say a bad thing. I didn't understand credit cards. I didn't understand credit cards and how to use them. And so my very first credit card, maxed that thing out, wasn't paying it back on time, and it ended up closing. And that was a big lesson for me because I got it like in college. And so I had to like teach myself how to use credit to my advantage. And so when I came back home, I got a credit card with Butterfield Bank, who has like this advantage mile thing where every dollar you spend, you get a mile for your Sky Miles. So you can use that to buy a ticket and use it on their storefront. And so that's something that I learned from my own personal experience. So those would be my 2 that I would share. Look, number 7.
Amazing. How did you do that?
I don't know, but shout out to number 7.
Yeah, very well done. Well done, number 7, as called by Terri.
You're welcome.
Yeah, let me know. This must be your lucky day, your birthday eve.
It must be.
Amazing. So yeah, congratulations, Mohammed Raman, for winning our prize giveaway for our $5,000 account. As predicted by Terri. Any other predictions for today while you're at it?
I'm gonna do one and done. One and done. We're not gonna try to overstimulate the universal goal. We're just gonna let that be.
I like that. That's also a good habit. When you've seen a good result, sometimes it's nice to just enjoy it and then let it just marinate. Let it be.
Yes.
Let it be. I like that.
I'm gonna take it into the rest of my day.
There you go. It's going to be a beautiful day and into your birthday.
Exactly. So that's where we are.
My last sort of comment would be, do you have any any contact details, and then also any final words for our viewers. Let's say somebody's just tuned in and they want to know, how do I get more information? How would they go about doing that?
Absolutely. So my socials are all at Terri K, which is right there on the bottom. It's a really interesting way to spell it. The number 2 K for cool, because my middle name starts with a K, so that's where that kind of comes from. And you can hit me up on any social media platform. I'm definitely on Instagram the most. You can find me on X, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and that's it. My email address will also be in the description. So if you guys have, a more lengthy question or comment or something that you want to ask me or say to me, you can definitely send me an email. The best place to connect with me would be Instagram, because that's where I do post most of my content as it relates to finances. You'll see Cash Cafe replays, clips from the podcast. And if you scroll back far enough, you'll probably see some stuff related to the Sovereign Life podcast. So I'll definitely share some of that information with you as well if you're interested. And I would just say, at the end of the day, just focus on yourself and your journey. I know that there's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of people out there showing their highlights and doing well with what they've been able to learn and execute over time. But if you're starting today, your chapter 1 is not someone's chapter 10. You're going to get to your chapter 10 and it's going to look very different from even that person's chapter 10 that you're trying to compare yourself to today. So don't get caught up in trying to be like someone else. Just sit with where you are and set yourself up for your own success based on your journey and where you are, because there's no one else in the world that is you. There's no one else in the world that can do life like you. There's no one that has the same amount of money as you. And even if they do, the way they manage it is going to be way different than yourself. And as long as you're happy, as long as you're able to provide for your needs and you feel confident, happy, you're living a joyous life, and your family and your friends and whomever else you care about are taken care of, you're winning and you're managing your money and your energy very well.
Thank you very, very much. And we had one follow-up question here from Orchid Bermuda or Orchid BDA. What coaching services do you offer?
So I'm not a coach. I haven't done anything like that, but I definitely am always open to sitting down and just having a conversation and maybe pointing you into the right directions, because I do have connections with some of the local financial institutions here in Bermuda. So I can definitely put you in contact with people who do offer their services. So I'm always open to having a conversation with you. So feel free to hit me up on any socials and we can sit off, have a coffee, have some lunch, because I'm a girly who likes to eat. So we can definitely connect and, get some food and have some yaps.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Terri. And thank you again for coming on today. It's really been a pleasure. We always see you in the live chat, and it's nice to have you on the screen and sharing all this knowledge. I think lots of gems. So thank you again. I'm going to be watching this show back a few more times. And it's a nice follow on from the last time we spoke. And it's almost like the continuation of the conversation. So thanks again, Terri.
And I do want to thank you and Andrew. I know it's not on tonight, but I do want to thank the both of you for kind of getting me into this space and kind of just being somewhat mentors to me and just helping me get confident and comfortable with talking about money, because you guys were so comfortable and enthusiastic around talking about investing specifically. So I do want to give thanks and give you guys your flowers and your shout outs, because I definitely feel like the more connections you have in the space, the better you'll be as a person. So thank you both as well.
Thank you very much, Terri. And I'm kind of honored that you would say that. I didn't think of it in that way, but I'm glad that something that we've said has resonated with you, and we appreciate you, and continue doing what you're doing as well. I think you're changing lives, you're impacting people's lives for the better. So keep up the great work.
Thank you.
All right. That's Terri K, our special guest. Money management isn't just about trading and protecting your account. It's also about your spending. There's a few quotes. I'm going to probably butcher them, but one is, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you spend. And I think it connects very well to the trading space. So one of the feedback items that we repeatedly got was, please, can you please provide us with other perspectives? Can you bring on guests? And it's not just about trading. There's more to life than trading. So today we're going to leave it there. We're not going to go through, as we normally do in the charts, and look at too many detailed terminology. Too much terminology is what I'm trying to say. But we will say congratulations to Mohammed Rahman, still cruising down the river bend. Lucky number 7, called by our birthday girl tomorrow, and our special guest, Terri K. So congratulations, Mohammed. You will be receiving a $5,000 account courtesy of our sponsors, City Traders Imperium. From all of us here at Signature FX, and also, of course, on behalf of our sponsors, City Traders Imperium, I want to say a thank you to everybody who is watching us today. We do want to also say one more thank you to our special guest, Terri K. Look in the description for all of her details, and please feel free to reach out to her anytime you like. Thank you, everybody. Tomorrow, there will be no show. I will be putting my feet up, and I will be not looking at any charts or any screens. I'm going to probably do a purge of all the subscriptions that I don't need and I don't use and I forgot about. So enjoy your Juneteenth. Also, make sure that whatever you do today, you're preserving capital. Remember, today is options expiration, and we also want to call it Capital Preservation Thursday. For anybody who knows about capital preservation, that's our priority today. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, happy trading.